Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want?
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast that the New York Times have called the biggest influence to hit the airwaves since
19
Dickety 3. It's
Yep.
Is This What You Want? And I am one of the hosts, Matt O'Brien. Fat O'Crian, if you went to high school with me. And across from me is, as always, my wife, lover, enemy, friend, partner,
Julia
Landkowitz. SNL style. Julia Landkowitz.
And then it's just me on a street of New York coming out of a drain. Not a drain.
Yeah, coming out of a drain or something. The SNL intros are always like, you're eating a hot dog and you're holding a balloon. Or
Has
like,
anybody ever come out of like
a sewer?
a sewer? That's what I'm thinking. Like Oscar
No.
the Grouch style?
Those intros seem to be very guerrilla style shot. You know,
Yeah,
they're just
yeah.
shot around town. I'm sure there's a lot of setup. Can you imagine being like in the background of one of those intros? You're like,
Yeah.
I was walking by and then there's Bobby Moynihan just smiling.
By the way,
camera.
I do have a very good Bobby Moynihan video that, you know what, maybe I'll post it on our Instagram in the stories so everybody can take a look at that. It's a real fun time.
Here's the thing with that video is we filmed that during the pandemic.
We did.
And we
During
were
lockdown.
Locked down, which the term still sounds way too intense for what it was.
I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go to restaurants. It was a lockdown.
But like parts of China were locked down. Like people were apparently being welded into their apartments.
Yeah,
you were
that's a
locked
full
down.
lockdown.
We were. It was like a closed down.
It was closed down.
Things were closed down. We were recommended to not go.
It was a
anywhere.
not open down.
Yes. And I am seeing more. I've seen a couple videos online of people being like, you know what? I just kept doing things the whole time. Like people are just openly admitting it now because it's like kind of almost over.
But it's not even kind of almost
No.
over, but it's just a different time. And people are like, guess what? I was a piece of shit when you weren't supposed to be.
Yeah. Like we started watching, there's a season of Below Deck that's like mid 2020 right now. If you're not watching Below Deck, by the way,
You gotta.
I hope you understand what we're talking about. It's a show about super yachts and the crew on that said yachts.
And then the weird people who take the super
Yeah.
yachts.
But the one we just watched, it was like mid 2020 and it was like a bunch of people from Texas. And you could tell, you're like, oh, you've just been flipping and flopping around doing what you
Yeah.
wanted this entire time.
And it was weird because there was an issue because the chef had an injury, so we had to leave. So there was no chef for the charter because it's not like you can just get a new chef because everybody has to quarantine. There's all these rules in place. And they were so mad. I'm like, listen, man, everybody else is at home, literally staying inside, and you're on a fucking super yacht.
Yeah.
Relax.
I was staring into the clouds, wondering if I still had a career growing. I had a big beard at one point. Do you remember that? That's how you know how sad I'm getting.
Yeah, you were pretty...
I was real scraggly and scruffy.
I'm looking back at some pictures. I like dyed my own hair because my roots had grown out so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to try to dye it all the same color. And I was cutting my own bangs. And at the time I was like, hell yeah. Looking back at pictures, I look fucked.
We should delete all of the videos and photos that I actually was scrolling through. I was trying to find an old video of mine and I scrolled through like the chunk of pandemic. And yeah, it's sad. It's like, it should be like, it should be stored away in a warehouse somewhere.
Like, why didn't someone tell me? I had these like straight across bangs. I looked
Yeah.
like Simple Jack. Like it was...
It's like we went from living our lives normally, and then for some reason there was a 2-year period where all the photos looked like we were back in high school or something. It's like we lost our way, we lost our style.
Yeah.
There was no style, there was no clothing.
No,
Our
I was just
hair
wearing
was all fucked up.
sweatcetos the whole time or like workout gear because I would like run
Yeah.
and then I would come back and then have a beer and we like made a lot of poutine at home.
I made a lot of poutine at home, as you do when you're closed down in Canada. Speaking of closed down, we're going to have to close down this podcast sooner than the other ones because we're going to keep this to a tight 30 minutes.
Yeah, a hot
So
30.
If you enjoy an episode of Frasier with commercials, that's the kind of episode we're giving you right now because it's going to be a hot 30. And we're going to get all the info and we're going to entertain you as need be because we have to go to San Diego tonight.
San Diego. Heard of it?
Heard of it? You ever heard of San
You
Diego?
ever heard of San Diego?
San Francisco. Which one came first, San Francisco or San Diego? Why are they two Sans?
San Jose.
San Jose.
San Juan.
I mean, I know it's a language.
San
it's a Spanish
Gabriel.
thing. That's right. There's a lot of Sans.
A lot of Sans.
Which one was the first San?
They all happened at the same time.
Probably
at the
they
same
all
time.
exploded onto the map at the same time. But we're going there, and if you do not know what it's like to drive from LA to San Diego, I'll tell you, it is a journey. It is a Frodo Baggins journey across
Yep.
Middle Earth all the way to Mount Doom.
During a weekday, especially.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
like a
God.
almost sometimes it could be a 3-hour drive there and then like an hour 20 back.
Yeah.
That's how shitty they need to invent something. I don't know.
Like a large slingshot.
A large slingshot me in there, a boat, like a ferry, or doesn't that make sense? I drive to the coast and then it goes and then goes all the way into San Diego from the ocean.
Your mister gets sick all the time. You be barfing off that ferry.
If it would save me multiple hours, I would barf my brains out for
I don't know if it would.
however long that would take. But it's a beautiful drive.
It is a nice drive, but it's just extra frustrating when you're just stuck behind an 18-wheeler and you want to gouge your eyes out.
Yeah.
But no, we're happy for the stage time. We're
I
running our
know.
little set.
We're doing a show down there. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. You know what the funniest part about going to San Diego is? On the way there is it's like a refinery, an oil refinery.
Yes, but
and it looks like two tits.
Two tits.
It's
So you know you're getting close when you see the boobs.
but you're not even that close. Last time I did it, I saw the tits and I'm like, hell yeah, almost there. And then it was another hour. Like
Yeah.
the tits tease you. It's
The
like
tits.
this,
You think like, oh, it's 20 minutes past the tits.
yeah,
No.
no. It's the siren song. It brings you in and then destroys your confidence. Not really a good analogy for that. But either way, we'll keep this ripping right tight, getting a quick bite.
You're going to get a
For
quick
this.
bite of this podcast.
Yeah.
And you're also going to have a quick sip of this podcast because it's Chappy Hour.
Happy Chappy
Happy Chappy
Hour.
Hour, everybody.
We both have our Chappy Hour glasses.
Yes,
this
we do.
glass, by the way, I mean, you can see it if you're watching the video version of this, which I'm sure I will show, is a merch that we are going to start selling. It is a pint glass, frosted pint glass. We
Yeah.
love a frosted pint glass.
This is test merch. Seeing
Yeah.
if I ordered a few to see if they turned out.
I'm testing it. Oh my God, my throat's bleeding.
It's full
That's
of
what you get.
glass.
It's full of glass. What are you drinking for Chappy Hour? The only happy hour dedicated to the worst robot movie of all time that you have not seen.
Chappy.
Oh yeah, Chappy.
I am Chappy. What am I drinking, Matt? Let me just pull that up on my telephone. I am drinking a Chianti. By
Chianti?
Chianti.
I see. It just makes me think of Hannibal Lecter every time I
Because he likes Chianti.
a Chianti and a nice fava bean.
It's a Delatorre Chianti, product of Italy, 2021. And here's what it's saying on the back. Delatorre has a long, notable history of providing esteemed wines from Italy's most renowned vineyards following true Italian tradition. Each of our wines is crafted to enhance gatherings with friends and family, ideally with a table full of festive foods. Well, guess what? There's no festive foods here, bitch. This classic wine has bright cherry aromas and
You're
soft
reading
vanilla
the whole label, huh?
and berry flavors. The perfect wine for fresh pastas in tomato, basil, and oregano-based sauces.
That's the label. That's the whole
That's
thing.
the whole label right there.
I hope you love a podcast where people read full labels.
First of all, I read it very quickly.
We heard.
I will slice and
What do
dice
you-
you.
What do you think of it?
I think it's nice.
Well, I had some last night. It was quite nice. Chianti, for some reason, I'm like, it doesn't seem like a red wine to me. The name, for some reason, I'm like, oh, this is not like a Cab Sauv. This is not like a Merlot or anything. But it's just another red wine.
I love a Chianti.
I don't know why I'm thinking it's like a dessert wine or something, or like
No, yeah, because it sounds fancy.
it sounds way more fancy than it is, and it's
a
it's
Chianti.
just red wine.
We've been a lot of people don't know how to pronounce wines, and that's fine because, there's a lot of wacky names. A lot of them I don't know how to pronounce. But in the past 2 days, I've heard 2 people pronounce Veuve Clicquot as Vouvet.
Yeah, because it's Americans because they have no idea the French inflections.
Yeah. I asked for a glass of Prosecco somewhere, and he's like, we have Vouvet? I'm like, Buble? I'm like,
it was
"What?"
at the Yard House though, so
It's the Yard House. It's not Barney's Beanery.
there should be. I'm going to start filming you when you ask for prosecco or champagne at places because you ask for it at the dingiest, weirdest places.
But guess what? Some of the dingiest places have it, and they have
know.
them in splits.
That's what the whole compilation video will be about. It'll
Yeah.
be like you're at literally like a Knights of Columbus in fucking Iowa, and you're like, "Can I have a split of Veuve?" And the oldest man just gives you a
First of all, I'm not
half-drinking
that
split.
fancy. I'm not drinking splits of Veuve. I'm drinking splits of whatever Prosecco they have. I'm not ever drinking real
Doug's
champagne.
bubbly.
I'm not. Well, I'm not also not drinking Doug's bubbly. I'm somewhere in between.
We should make a bubbly for the people called Doug's Bubbly. And it's just a picture of a man we've never met.
Shrugging.
And he's just like, I don't know.
You like this?
I made this in a tub. Made in a tub by Doug. Doug's Bubbly.
Made in a tub by Doug. Made in a tub by Doug. Made in a tub. Made in a tub. Made in a tub by Dub.
Tug
Made
by
in a
Doug.
tub by Dub.
People are into that though, like especially with wine stuff. Because was there like white girl wasted wine or something? There was like,
Yeah, and the girls' night out wine.
oh yeah, oh what was the one in Canada? Strut,
Strut.
and it's just like a picture
pair
of
of legs.
a pair of women's legs on the bottle. Our friend Dylan Gott would get it all the time, and he's like, I'm having a strut night.
Yeah, having a strut night.
getting strut.
What if we started a wine label called Butt, and it's just a picture of a nice fat ass?
Yeah. Or sticky fist. And it's just a picture of a sticky fist. And you're like, what? Where was that fist? Why did it make wine?
It was Fisting the Grapes.
Yeah, I would hope.
A wine called Fisting the Grapes.
Fisting the grapes.
It's pretty good.
Grape fister. Ew.
Grape Fister.
Grape fister.
So-
What am I drinking, you ask?
Oh, yeah, what
Thanks
are you
for
drinking,
asking.
Matt?
I'm drinking a bubbly water made from our very own Soda Stream.
Wow.
And they're not even giving us any money. We should reach out to them, actually, after I say this.
Why? So we can get another one for free?
Yeah, I know. Here's what happened with this Soda Stream. I got you this Soda Stream for Christmas.
Croissants.
But then there was a Black Friday sale, and I was like, "Can I return this and then get the cheaper one?" And they said, "No, we'll just refund it." And then they gave me the cheaper price, but now I just have a full Soda Stream set up in there.
yeah, they didn't like cancel it.
They didn't
And you
cancel it.
tried.
I tried so hard, but I am drinking bubbly water from Soda Stream. I do like it because it's sometimes a LaCroix or anything canned thing. You're like, there's something extra in there.
Yes.
There's something.
All this natural flavor. What is it? What
No.
is it? They're not telling you what it is.
Because this is just straight up water and carbonation.
That's
That's
water
all-
that from our like Brita filter, and then we put it in the stream.
Homemade. I made it with my bare hands.
I've been LaCroix have really been pissing me off lately. They taste weird to me. I don't like them. Really do enjoy a Spindrift because that's a bit of like a natural essence in there, like actual lemon juice or a bit of lime juice. That's nice.
You know what'll freak you out, listener, if you decide to explore Spindrift, which they have at Costco, by the way, very reasonably priced. It does have pulp.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Did we talk about
Yeah.
this? Because I was really high one night and I was like, holy fuck, I'm chewing on my Spindrift.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like lemon pulp because guess what? It's real lemon.
I would hope so. And it's not some weird, like, just goo they put in there. Be like, put some goo in there and then they'll assume it's real.
We're eating all sorts of weird things. Also, you eat Costco hot dogs all the time, and there's some weird goo in there. I tell you that much.
Here's the thing with Costco hot dogs. There was that article that said that a hot dog takes like a few minutes off your life.
Yeah.
Who cares? First of all, enjoy yourself. Second of all, then they named other food. You got to read the article because then they're like, well, these foods add minutes to your life. And it was like a banana. So it was like, if you eat a hot dog, it takes away 2 minutes, but then a banana adds 4 minutes. And I'm like, also,
How are you calculating
Who's
this?
calculating this? Is it a guy on his deathbed and they're like, how many bananas did you have? How many hot dogs did you just eat? Oh, what time is it?
Can
like
you
they're-
imagine every day, like you eat a banana and you go plus 2 minutes. You eat a hot dog and you're like minus 2 minutes. And
Yeah.
like everything, you're just calculating it all day, every day.
When I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to be plowing hot dogs. If I want to get out of here, it's going to be like a type of like,
Eat yourself to death?
eat myself to death, or I'm going to have a tally board next to my deathbed, and it's going to have hot dogs on it. And you're going to be like, how much time do I have left? How am I dead yet? And the doctor's like, you're like 10 hot dogs away from dying. And that'll be it. That's how I'm going to go. Reeking of hot dogs.
No, it's disgusting.
And it's going to be an open casket funeral, and people are going to be like,
Woo.
he was a nice guy, but it smells like
What
beef.
if we just cover you with uncooked weenies? So you're like not even like wearing clothes. You're just the coffin is just full of hot dogs.
Here's all the things that killed him quicker than. we
or
were
the
expecting.
coffin is a big hot dog bun.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
And then we just
And
put a
I'm
big
the
squirt.
wiener.
You're the wiener, and then we just put a big squirt of mustard and ketchup.
Everyone gets to come up and put toppings on me.
Yeah.
And then they slide me into a grave and bury the big hot dog. This is my audio will right now. When I die, put me in a bun casket, spray me with mustard.
I feel like a bun casket's a bit expensive because that's
it's not
custom made.
it's not actual bread.
I know, but still, to make a bun casket out of wood, it would cost you a pretty penny.
You could just put a couple of beanbag chairs together that are tan.
Well,
sew
then
'em
now you're
together,
just in 2 tan beanbag chairs.
covered in mustard. He died how he lived, taped to a bunch of old beanbag chairs covered in mustard.
I don't even know if you can buy a beanbag chair these days. That's a thing of the past.
I don't. I saw an ad for a beanbag chair type thing, and they were talking like it was a new thing. It was like an internet ad, and they're like, "It shapes to your body." I'm like, "Yeah."
It's a beanbag chair.
Until there's a little slit in the side, and all the little beads come out, and you're like, "There's not actually full of beans."
And definitely those little beans in there, those beads were definitely toxic. They were definitely like cancer causing.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I ate a few of those. That's a few minutes off my.
Well, I mean,
life, I'll
just
tell you that
like
much.
I remember when there was like articles being like, "Is your couch causing cancer?" And it's like the foam in it.
Do you ever see that? What's that? My strange addiction.
Oh yeah,
It's
that
not
person
maybe.
who like ate.
She would eat
couch
her couch.
innards.
Yeah, she would eat the foam out of her couch, and I kept picturing the camera guy staring at her while she's eating it. That's what I don't understand about these reality camera guys. They have to just be like, it's
Yeah.
just stare, and they can't react to anything.
And even when something like bad is happening, it's like, well, I'm not going to help you. I'm just going to like the show Intervention.
Oh my god,
Oh my God. And they're just recording these people doing this crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh,
it would be the worst if they're just so like they're such damaged people, the camera guys, that they're just like
just loving it.
loving or they're like, this is gonna be great TV.
Well, it's the same thing with like Planet Earth and that kind of stuff. Like they have cameras, but like that's if I saw, I'm like, oh no, this gazelle is going to be eaten by this lion. I'd be like, shoo lion, but like you can't get in the way of it.
And also they're wearing like grass full suits.
Yeah,
and,
they'd be like, shoo lion. The lion would be like, all right, I'll fucking eat you.
yeah.
You
So
dumb
maybe
bitch.
so maybe for the show Intervention, the people are dressed up in camouflage.
Yeah.
He's dressed like couch foam,
Yeah.
and
just-
he's egging her on.
and he's just like,
"You
ow.
like that couch foam? Quit eating me, lady."
Listen, because we have to plow through this quite quickly, let's get into our first segment.
Wait, before we get into that,
Oh my God.
if you were to write an advertisement for bubbly water, what would the slogan be?
For bubbly water, the slogan would be tickle your taste buds the way your mama used to.
Ew! My mom never tickled my taste buds. People would buy that. Tickle the taste buds the way your mama used to. Oh my God, as if people are grabbing a case. Well, I'm not going to say anything after that because that's the best one. I was going to say it's like horny water or something. It's water, but it's excited to see you.
Yeah, it's jizzed up water.
Jizzed up water. Bubbly water.
Like your mama used to.
The water's jizzed up like your mama used to make it.
All right.
Ew.
Listen.
You could do that with any product you put, if like your mama used to make it.
Or just like your mama used to.
Yeah. Ugh.
Shave your face like your mama used to.
No, I don't
All
want to do
right.
anything like my
It's
mama
time
used
for our first segment.
What is our first segment?
Warm and fuzzy.
This is where we talk about something nice that happened this week in the world of shit. It's cloudy out right now. You're like, oh, will the clouds ever part? And let me tell you, they're going to part right now when we talk about our nice things. And we hope that you can reflect on
Yeah.
something that nice that happened to you as well. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go first. Okay. One thing that literally happened right before this podcast, as you can see, if you're watching the video of this, I'm wearing a sweater.
Yes.
And it was quite wrinkled, so I just chucked in the dryer before to get the wrinkles out, and then I put it on. And goddamn, putting on a warm sweater when it's cold out,
Insane.
nothing better. I literally went, oh, like I felt like I was a marshmallow roasting over an open fire. I was
Yeah.
literally warm and fuzzy. So that was number one. Number two is I signed up for a half marathon today.
That's right. One that's happening in Hollywood, California.
Yes, October 15th. Because my one of my best friends, Jess Brown,
Yeah.
she signed up for a marathon in Canada in October, and I was like, you know what? I should do one. So I just started looking at them and I was like, this one's in October. It's in Hollywood. And at the end, they're like, we have like a red carpet thing and then you get like champagne. I'm like, hell yeah.
That's your
that's
thing.
That's my thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to split a Prosecco. So I'm really excited about it.
You're gonna
and
barf that champagne up.
Oh, for
immediately.
sure. I mean, I'm scared because I haven't been running as much lately, but I have a lot of time to train. And I went for a run today and it was just like, it was such a better run than I've had in the past few months because I was excited that I'm like, oh,
You got a goal.
I have a goal and
Yeah.
I love a goal.
How long do you think the half marathon will take you? What's like your ideal?
Here's
time?
the thing, because you have to put like what your time is, like
Yeah.
how your mile is. I'm like, oh God. I think, wait, what did you run your marathon in?
Like 4 hours and 47 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Which is bad. That was like stopping and walking and like
Right.
there was bad time. My 10K was 47 minutes.
Okay. So here's the thing. If I run it in under 3 hours, I'll be happy.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
It's doable.
I think it's doable because right now I am running like a pretty slow mile
Yeah.
because I haven't been training a lot, but I think that'll change. So I had to input what I would do and I made it a little bit faster than what I do now because I'm hoping that I will be at that level by
Yeah.
the time the marathon rolls around.
You gonna vast your nips? I feel like women's nips don't bleed as much as men's do.
Because
during-
we wear sports bras. We have
That's right.
proper that's the thing. If I am slopping around, like during the pandemic when I was slopping around all day with no bra, my fucking nips would get chapped as hell.
yeah, it's slopping around.
Yeah,
They're
because I was
pointed
like,
and
put
they're
on a bra, man.
rubbing up against things.
My big bosom and my fat nipples. No, I actually have quite nice small nipples.
Fantastic nipples.
Don't picture them. Anyway, Matt, what's your warm and fuzzy?
My Warren Fuzzy also just happened right before this podcast aired. I got an email from I did an interview with Eat This Not That, which is a very popular food website.
Yep.
About my love of Costco, and I got an email from them, and they said that they played the Costco shareholders meeting was today, and they played my stand up at the shareholders meeting, which is crazy.
That's so fun.
So like all the CEOs, all the shareholders, like thousands of people watched me.
Wait, did he say that they were liking it?
They loved it.
Okay, good. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
She's like, they played it and it bombed.
Here's who we're suing this year is what they said. But it was a crazy. And then he sent me the video of it, and yeah, they played a bunch of clips of my stand up. Never in a million years did I think that this would go all the way to the top.
I did. I truly believed that your love of Costco would reach Mr. Kirkland.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with this information now. I'm like, okay, they know I exist. They know I'm telling these jokes.
Yeah.
They know I love it there.
So when you go on to your next thing, like your one-man show or whatever you do in the Costco realm, that it's already set up. There's already been an introduction.
That's right. They know I exist, and they haven't stopped me. So, because that wasn't a thing I was thinking about, because I am writing a one-man show about Costco, as we all know. And I was like, can I get sued for this? Do they hate this? And it was, apparently they like it.
What
So-
if our doorbell rang right now and it was a cease and desist?
Yeah, it was just a guy with a baseball bat dressed as a hot dog. He's like, you better stop fucking talking about us, bud.
If you fucking talk about Costco, I'll fucking give you a big whack with this baguette.
I'll be on your front lawn for 4 fucking hours making sure you don't fucking talk about us.
I'm just picturing a man with like one of those like baseball things that shoots out baseballs like to practice, but he's
Yeah.
shooting out rotisserie chickens.
Yeah, I would love that if they shot a chicken at my chest. That's not a punishment.
Shoot a chicken at my chest.
That's a dream I had in a deep winter's sleep. So that was nice to get that.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things. I'm like, okay, now what? Now this has gone all the way to the top. Now what? So I don't know what this is to become of this, but I will.
It's just
keep,
friggin' cool,
it's
man.
just neat. It's just neat
It's
to,
very neat.
to happen. And reach for the stars, people, because sometimes the people at Costco will find out you exist. So that's my warm and fuzzy.
It's very warm and fuzzy.
Guess we'll move on to our final segment of the evening.
It's
before we head up.
called. Oh, sorry. Before we have to head out. What?
Yeah.
It's called. Well, that was stupid.
Well,
That
that
was
was stupid.
stupid.
This is where we talk about something stupid that happened this week, and I am struggling to think of what my main stupid thing. A lot of like small stupid things. I
Yeah.
mean, last week I complained about natural gas
Yep.
prices, which I'm sure was riveting to everybody.
I have a few stupid things.
Okay, let's hear it.
I mean, okay, we have been complaining about the cold, but I truly am so. I'm just sick of my hands and feet being cold.
Yes.
Like my hands get so cold. I was warming them on Matt's crotch the other night before bed.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Please stop. You're literally icing my penis." And then
Yeah.
I laughed forever.
It was like that X-Men character, the Iceman, and where he touches something and it goes fully to ice. That's what was happening. My penis was going fully frozen.
It's just
from your
all the
touch.
time. All my extremities are just so cold. I'm like, I need indoor mittens or something, and I'm just truly sick of it.
They gotta have indoor mittens at this point. I mean, I guess outdoor mittens could be indoor.
Yeah, but then
don't
I
touch
need like
anything.
stuff to do. But then those like weird smoker gloves. But gloves never do it for me.
Fingerless gloves? You
Fin-
want fingerless gloves?
I guess so, but
with
those-
a little flap.
I don't think it would work. Anyway, it sucks.
We'll get you some mitts.
I need some mimis on my hee-hees.
Jesus.
But my main, well, that was stupid, is friggin' the ups and downs. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Of this career, and also just in my brain. And as I mentioned before, I'm like, I think I have ADHD. I'm trying to get my emotions and my stuff, fixed up. But there's been such highs and lows this week within like a matter of minutes sometimes. Like on Tuesday, I was just in such a mood. I felt so fucking shitty about myself, and I felt like all was lost. And then I had a great set that night, and I'm like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the best. And then the next day I was at improv and we were doing a scene, and I just felt like the worst person out there. I was like, I suck at this. Why am I even trying? What am I doing? And then we did another scene, and then I fucking crushed it. And I was like, I'm the king of the world. And I just felt so,
Upsy dupsy.
it was just so ups
yeah.
and downs and ups and downs. And I literally, like when you picked me up yesterday, I felt crazy. I'm like, I feel nuts.
That's a lot. This career is terrible. I was thinking about that too, because I've also had the same kind of week where I'm like, one day I was like so depressed one day. I'm like, fuck this, fuck everything. But then I worked and worked and worked, and then I started to feel good about myself again. And I'm like, no matter how long you do this, and I remember, I'm pretty sure I mentioned him about this before, but Mike Wilmot, Canadian comedian, mentioned this. He's like, years ago when I was starting stand-up, he's like, get good at the lows
Yeah.
of this career, because those are the hardest. And I absolutely agree with that. Like the lows where you feel like everything's gone and no one gives a shit about you, when in reality people do give a shit about you because you've been doing this
Yeah.
long enough and you are not forgotten.
And
But-
also, the lows are where you learn, as frustrating as it is, because on Tuesday when I was feeling shitty about myself, I was like, okay, I'm really going to like make sure that I know like my set tonight. And I'm not just, because sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm having a good time, whatever. I'm going to willy-nilly, and like, I made sure I wrote out the beats of everything. So I'm
Yeah.
like, so I went on with an exact plan. I knew exactly what I was doing. And then I felt totally in control up there. I'm like, hell fucking yeah. So yeah, you learn from this stupid shit.
Yeah, you learn how to deal with it. It's wild. But then I'm like, I've actually been thinking, I'm like, what if I chose another career? But I'm like, then I would feel the same way about something else. I'd be like, oh, I'm useless at this, but no, I'm good at this. I'm just like, I think that's just our personalities. I don't know. I think that's just how.
I mean, we're also perfectionists. That's
Yeah.
what someone in my class was, because I was like really fucking sad, and then we went on break, and they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I fucking sucked up there. That was so bad." They're like, "What are you talking about? That was so funny. That was so great." And she's like, "You're a perfectionist. Like you want to do well, and
Yeah.
you're used to doing well. So when you don't, you're like,
it's
your
not even doing
world
well
is over."
too. It's like I want to kill. I want to do so well.
Yeah.
So when you do just well, you're like, oh.
So when it's fine, you're like, "Ew,
Yeah.
fine is such
Fine
a
sucks.
shitty feeling."
I'd rather bomb than do fine, because at least I'm like, fuck, that sucked.
It
Where
depends
fine,
on the
you're like,
bomb.
yeah.
Matt, what was stupid for you this week?
Let me tell you, I don't think I've mentioned this. That was pretty stupid.
I burped.
My wife barfing all over the rug.
I moved the mic away from my face.
I have been shaving my face for, let's say, since I was 16. So over 15 years. 20 years. Oh my God, 22 years. And
Wait, what? How old are you?
38.
You're 38?
I'll be 38 in a couple months.
Ew.
Ew.
Just
Please
kidding.
Delete that from the podcast. Don't tell Hollywood.
I'm dating. I'm dating a 38-year-old. I'm married to a 38-year-old.
38-year-old. You'll be married to a 40-year-old soon, too.
That's so crazy. I met you. We started dating when I was 22.
Ew. And I was the same age. I was still 38.
Ew.
No, but no matter how long I've been shaving my face for, and no matter how you feel about my age, which we're just discovering right now,
I love it.
I always cut my Adam's apple.
Yeah.
I slice that fucking apple wide open.
You got to go slower.
I do. Trust me. I've done it hundreds of times. I've come at it from different angles, up, down, sideways, barely touching it. It's like the skin around it's so thin.
Yeah, because
that
you've cut it 1,000 times.
1,000 times. But shouldn't it scar up and get tougher? Shouldn't my body learn? Shouldn't it be like an armadillo's fucking back?
Can you like suck in your Adam's apple? Like,
No. It's just always little bumpy rumpy there, and I always cut it. And I just was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, because when I shave, I'm like, well, I got to block off at least an hour or two for the blood to dry. Like I can't not do it, and it's fucking dumb. But I've dealt with it my whole life, and if anyone has any tips on shaving an Adam's apple,
if anybody wants to come over and shave my husband's Adam's apple,
I'd love to get rid of it. It's so dumb looking. It's not.
Why is
big,
it there?
though.
It holds the key to being a man.
Yes, the key. There's a tiny key in there, and it opens my diary, and you get to read about all the man things that I know.
What'd it do though?
I actually don't know. I read about it a while ago because I'm like, what the fuck is this thing? I think it's a hormone thing, or like I don't know, or maybe it makes my voice extra low. Makes me.
You think that it would make the voice higher because it's like
pressing against it.
Yeah,
It's like when you let the air out of a balloon.
So when you're a young boy, a teen, or where you haven't hit puberty, is your Adam's apple like in a different place, and then it
It
shifts
comes up
around?
from the ankles.
Yeah.
It comes all the way up the legs, up the ankles, through the ass, and then hits your throat and goes and settles in. No, I remember like vividly when it was coming in when I was like going through puberty. I'm like, oh my god, here it comes! Like, because I had a friend who had a huge one, and I used to be jealous of it too, because I'm like, he looks like a fucking man.
Adam's apples, I always hate. I remember
Yeah.
we had a teacher called Monsieur Gosselin,
Ew.
French teacher, Monsieur Gosselin, and we were always like, "Ew, he's creepy." In hindsight, he probably wasn't. He was just a
Too big an
man
habit?
in his like late 40s, early 50s, teaching a bunch of 12-year-old girls French. But he had I just remember the biggest Adam's apple, and he would kind of like play with his chest hair.
Ew.
And I don't know if I told this on the podcast before, but we were arguing about something. I was always giving him so much attitude and sass. And I said, I had just watched like Gone with the Wind with my mom. And then he said something, and I was like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And he's like, c'est quoi ça? I'm like, no, quoi, no.
Wow. That TV is really poisoning the brain of the youth. I mean, that old movie from 1932 or whatever.
Ay, ay.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Speaking of 1932, we are at 32 minutes right now, and we have to wrap it up rapido so we can go to San Diego
Wrap it up.
and do whatever kind of set we're going to do. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. And-
thank you.
And watching our clips online. I'm putting so much effort into those, and no one's watching them, but I have a feeling they're going to pop off any second now.
Yeah, the one that you like, I am just in awe of your editing skills, and the one that you did from last week. I love the exploding bear one that we
Exploding
did.
bear.
Come on.
Check it out. It's on our podcast page, on all our Instagram pages as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of, where can they find you?
You
on
can
those?
find me on Instagram at Julia Comedy, or you can find me on Facebook at Julia Comedian, and our Instagram page is This What You Want Podcast. What about you, Matt?
Matt_O'Brien on Twitter and Matt O'Brien on Instagram. That's all that matters. Also, yeah, go to my Facebook page and like it. I'm going hard on that because apparently you can make money from that.
What's your Facebook page?
I think it's comedian Matt O'Brien. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just search Matt O'Brien, and then there's a headshot of me doing this. Look, I'm being serious, but I'm smiling and I'm looking real friendly, so it's not weird.
And I'm looking real friendly.
I'm looking real friendly out there. So thank you very much for listening, everyone, and we are off to San Diego. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you want with Matt and Julia? Is this what you Sha-la-la-la.